and welcome to SMPTE 2018 Live. Thanks for joining us at Post Perspective TV, the Cocktail Hour. And we're very happy to welcome tonight Seth Hallen. Seth?
Dayna.
Cheers, thank you for joining us.
Cheers to you, thank you.
So I didn't introduce you by title because technically you have two.
Ah.
So why don't you give everybody first your actual day job, your
Okay.
paying title, what that is?
My day job, as you put it, I'm responsible for global strategy and business development for Pixelogic,
Okay.
which is a global service provider for localization and distribution services.
And you guys have been open for how long now?
Just over 2 years.
Okay.
So prior to that, I was responsible for a Sony business unit, a creative services business unit that was acquired by Pixelogic April of 2017, and now we're all happily part of the Pixelogic family.
Excellent. And then to dive into what we're actually here to talk about a little bit more today, your volunteer job.
Yes.
You are the president of the HPA, the Hollywood Professional Association, and you've got a pretty severe case of volunteerism.
Yes, or volunteeritis, as the HPA founder Leon Silverman likes to call it. I think he gave me that, or cursed me with that disease a long time ago.
Why do you think that it's important to volunteer for the HPA? What do you think the HPA gives back to the community?
I guess the best way to describe it is with my first HPA experience years and years ago in the early 2000s-ish. We had these social events. They were really kind of drinking parties after work. You remember those at Lola's?
I
you were there.
I might have made an appearance or two
Lola's,
at Lola's,
yeah.
yes.
And so my first experience was that HPA is just a drinking social community. But
Not
actually,
that there's anything wrong with that.
not that there's anything wrong with it, but actually what really struck me was really the sense of industry community, or the community within our industry. You know, it's really when you have a job, you work with these people at your work all day long, and you're proud of that, and you have lots of friends and people that you work with, and that's great, and you're part of your work community. You're at your company.
You spend more time sometimes with them
Yes,
than
exactly. Exactly. But what these HPA events made me realize is you're actually part of a greater industry community.
Right.
I really got to appreciate the value that the HPA brought to our community and our industry, and the first big accomplishment we had was to launch the very first, which you and I worked on together, the very first HPA Awards in 2006.
Yes, 2006.
Yep, and that brought and still brings a great deal of satisfaction to me. And if you love your industry, you love your community, getting back to your question, the HPA is an amazing place to give back, I guess, to the industry that you're involved in.
And to meet a lot of great people who are working in the community that you may or may not know.
Absolutely. Yep.
And I know that one of the initiatives that the HPA started a while ago that is very near and dear to your heart is the YEP program. And tomorrow at SMPTE there'll be a YEP day.
Yeah.
So why don't you share with people who aren't familiar what YEP stands for, how it came about, and why it's important to you?
Well, there are a lot of very passionate people involved in the leadership of this initiative. YEP stands for Young Entertainment Professionals.
Yes, that's important.
And we call them YEPs.
Yes.
You know, when several years ago the board started looking around and realizing that there's a lot of gray hair in the room. And
testosterone.
And testosterone as well. And I looked around and realized I was, I guess, in my late 40s then, and realized, well, I guess I shouldn't be the oldest guy around, but I shouldn't be the youngest. And I was one of the younger. And so that's a problem. So we need to really make sure that we're empowering and fostering and supporting our young entertainment professionals, fostering diversity, fostering gender parity in our industry. These are initiatives that are really important to the HPA. When it comes to community, the Women in Post group is very involved with this as well. And in fact, the HPA Women in Post, which has been an initiative for a number of years, actually incubated and launched the Young Entertainment Professionals group, which is now a full-fledged HPA group.
Yes, and the young people actually applied to be YEPs There's a selection process?
That's right. So they apply. It's actually free to apply, but there is a selection process. I've looked at the applications. They get sponsors from their company to support them. They tell us a little bit about themselves and their aspirations and their ambitions. There is a process in which they are selected by several board members and YEP leaders. And I've seen some of the applications. I'm really excited to meet our 2019 class that's coming in
right,
tomorrow.
They'll come in tomorrow here at SMPTE Conference.
That's here at the SMPTE Conference. We have our first YEP sort of indoctrination day for them, and I'm really excited. It looks like a fantastic group of a new class of YEPs coming in.
It's really exciting. And so we've touched on YEP, we touched on Women in Post.
Yeah.
What are some of the other groups that HPA has going right now?
So we have HPA Net, which stands for Networking, Education, and Technology.
Okay.
And really the forum for that one are local Hollywood-based lunches. And we'll have roundtable discussion lunches, or we'll have a panel and a traditional panel and moderator discussions over lunch. We covered blockchain at the last event, which has been a kind of a hot topic for us lately when it comes to digital distribution and security and some other applications. But that was a very successful
We had two of the
event.
presenters from that net day come and speak to us on Post Perspective TV
Oh, did
here
you?
about blockchain.
Terrific.
Yes,
Terrific.
so it all ties together.
That's great.
And then you also touched on where we met originally. The HPA Awards is coming up in November.
November 15th at Skirball.
Yes.
It's our 13th,
It's our 13th
year,
show.
if you can believe it.
I can't.
And we
were
had
children.
nearly 400 entries. Just to touch on that one real quick, what really drove us to start that, you were there, was our admiration for the creative talent, the creative force in post-production, who don't get as much recognition as they often deserve.
Yes.
We recognize editors in feature film, commercial, and television categories, as well as visual effects artists and audio engineers and colorists. So
And we are still the only colorist award.
I was going to say, exactly. Some of those other artists do get awards elsewhere, but colorists, this is their Oscar, you know. So, very well sought after. We had, like I said, almost 400 entries in those categories. There will only be 12 or 14 winners this year. I think we increased a little bit.
Yes, 12 winners in the creative categories.
Okay.
And then the engineering awards.
Okay.
As well. So
Engineering, creativity, and innovation, and we often give a special award each year. And this year, the Charles S. Schwartz Award will be given to Victoria Alonso from Marvel. So we're really excited about that.
Very exciting and a very well-deserving recipient of the award. Okay, well, if people want more information, please check out the HPA website, because we encourage everybody to volunteer and come to an event. And Seth, thank you. That's us signing out from SMPTE 2018.
Thank you, Dana.
Thanks, Seth.